Hello students, today is the second day of the chapter Life Processes in the Living Organisms. In the first lecture I have told you what is meant by the life processes. Life processes are needed for the life to get the life started, and living organisms are the organisms which show the life processes. Now in that we have studied about the asexual reproduction in case of any unicellular organism. And now today we are also going to study about the multicellular organism, asexual reproduction in the multicellular organism. Before that, 3 points we have studied. Now this is the fourth point whichever we are going to study today. That is nothing but a vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation we see in case of plants. We know that the plants are having root, stems and leaves. These are the parts of the plants. The parts of the plant itself shows the asexual reproduction. Now how is that we are going to see here. Now in case of a potato, we know that the potato are having a number of eyes. Whenever these eyes fall into the soil, the eyes give rise to the new potatoes. Next one, the leaf of a bryophyllum plant. The leaf gives birth to the leaf. We see that the bryophyllum plant has the leaf which has some edges, and the leaves give birth to the leaves at the edges of this leaf. Next we see the sweet potato. In case of a sweet potato, we see that there are nodes for that, and if we take these nodes and put it into the soil, the nodes again give rise to the sweet potato. Next comes the fifth one, that is nothing but a spore formation. Here the name spore formation is given because the process itself contains the formation of a spore. For this you have to take a bread or a bhakri, you have to keep it for 2 to 3 days. After that you find a fungus or a hair-like structures come on this bhakri, or you can say the bread. Now take this filamentous body and observe it under the microscope. Whenever you observe it under the microscope, you see a particular structure. Here it shows the hypa, which is nothing but a thread-like structure, spores, which is rounded body, sporangium, which is rounded body, and in that there are spores, and the root-like structures which are called as a rhizoids. Whenever the favorable condition comes, the sporangium breaks open and all the spores come out of it and fall onto the soil and give birth to the plants. Next comes sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is a reproduction where the sexual organs are used. It is seen in the germ cells. We know that it is taking place with the help of a germ cells, and here little variations are seen. This I have told in the first lecture. Now we are going to see the types of the sexual reproduction. The types of the sexual reproductions are nothing but a gamete formation and fertilization. Gamete formation is nothing but a formation of a gamete. Now how this takes place? See here, gametes are formed by the process meiosis. I have told you about the cell division, that is nothing but a meiosis. Meiosis is a cell division which is nothing but a reductional cell division. Here the number of chromosomes are reduced to half. The parent cell gives only n number of chromosomes to the daughter cells. So we call it as a reductional division. Now whenever there is a gamete formation is formed by the meiosis process. In meiosis, we know that the chromosome number is reduced to half. Hence, we know that the haploid gametes are formed here. Next comes the fertilization. A diploid zygote is formed in this process by union of haploid male and female gametes. That means, in this process, both the male and female are going to come together. They are going to unite and form a zygote. Then next comes, due to this, a new individual individual always has the recombined genes of both parents. As in the fertilization, both male and female parents are involved. Here, the characters of these parents are passed to their offspring. Next comes, hence the new offspring formed here shows the similarities to the parents. As it gets the characters from the parents, it itself gets the characters of the parents in its body. Next comes, so the offsprings have same characters of parents, of same characters different from the parents. Now you may see the diversity in the living organisms occurs due to the genetic variation. Now whenever the genes come from the parents, you may see some variations also in that. The genetic variations helps the organism to adjust with the changing environment. As the organism is having the genes from the parents, it also has to adjust with the environment, because organism, whenever it adjusts with the environment, can only survive in the environment always, or it has to perish. For that reason, whatever the characters it has got from the parents and with the another characters, it has to survive into the environment. That means it itself has to make the change in its body so that it will find a new way of living the life. Next comes, from this the plants and the animal themselves can save from being extinct. And if they adapt themselves with the environment, or if they adjust with the environment, then and then only they can live in the environment, otherwise they have to become extinct. So, now we are going to see sexual reproduction in case of a plant. Whenever we are going to see the sexual reproduction in case of a plant, the important part, that is nothing but a flower. Here I have drawn a flower. The figure itself contains stigma, style, ovary, that is nothing but a gynoecium, that is nothing but a, and again anther filament, that is nothing but a androecium. Here there is a calyx and here there is a corolla. This is nothing but a figure of a structural unit which is called as a flower. So therefore we call a flower as a structural unit of a sexual reproduction in case of a plant. Whenever you consider the flower, it consists of four whorls, four floral whorls, which are nothing but a calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. All this calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium are together arranged in a sequence from outside to inside. Androecium and gynoecium are called as the essential whorls because they perform the function of a reproduction. Whenever there is a process of a reproduction, both the gynoecium and androecium are very important, as they are nothing but a female and male part of the flowers. Whereas calyx and corolla are accessory whorls because they protect the inner whorls. Now here inner whorls are very delicate in case of the flower, that is nothing but androecium and gynoecium. To protect this, there is a calyx and corolla. Calyx is a green sepal-like structure and corolla, that is nothing but a very attractive in case of a flower, and it has a various types of colors. Members of calyx are called as sepals. Members of corolla are called as petals. That means a single part of a calyx is called as a sepal and a single part of a corolla is called as a petal, which is very attractive and attracts the insects for pollination. Next comes, flower is also called as a bisexual because it has both androecium and gynoecium present in the same flower. For example, hibiscus. In Marathi it is called as a jaswan, which has both the androecium and gynoecium. Therefore, it is called bisexual. Bi means two. Sexual means which contains the sexual organs. Therefore, the name it is given as a bisexual flower. Next comes a flower is called as a unisexual if any one of the whole is present in the flower. If only androecium is present, it is called as a male flower. And if only gynoecium is present, it is called as a female flower. In case of papaya, we see that only a single whorl is present. Many flowers are having the stalk, which are called as a pedicel, and those who do not have the stalk, they are called as a sessile flowers. Then we see towards next we come towards the flower, that is nothing but the middle portion, which we call it as a gynoecium. Here I have told you that gynoecium has, or it is made up of three parts, that is nothing but a stigma, style and ori. In this flower we are going to see the stigma, which is present at the uppermost part of the flower. Next comes style, which is a hollow tube-like structure, and at the base there is a solar structure which is called as a ovary. The stigma, style and ovary together are called as a gynoecium, which is nothing but a female part of the flower. Now, the pollen grains come and fall onto the stigma. After that, they get transferred towards the ovary through a style. Style is nothing but a tube which transfers the pollen grains. The pollen grain comes to the base of the ovary, and there is a fusion of both the structures. Next comes the androecium. Androecium here has two parts that are nothing but a anther and filaments. Anther contains the pollen grains. Here anther may be bilobed and it has a stalk-like structure which is called filament. Both anther and filament together forms an androecium, which is nothing but a male part of the flower.